Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. So, all this AI business,
hmm
are we wasting our time or is there something to it?
What? There's definitely something to it. There's definitely something to it.
Oh, why do contractors need to give a shit about AI?
Well, I'll put it pretty simply from my perspective. Now, mind you, I'm a self-professed geek of AI and
Right,
generally fascinated with it. But I understand it from a contractor's perspective as well, as that they have enough shit to do. Like this is another thing
right, right.
on
Just
top,
one more, right.
another distraction,
One more
another
thing I got to learn,
right.
right?
So and again, it's the learning curve. Like all things, like again, we've had technology, we've had systems, and CRMs and everything for 20 years, and
Right,
contractors have always been slow to adapt to them. And I get it, I understand, and but this technology is different. This advancement and what we're able to do now with AI truly does save you time, and I mean that
yeah,
in every sense of the word. If you're speaking to it the right way, okay. So I think
yeah.
again, one thing that I'm noticing a lot of is there is just this huge uptick, and contractors in general, and the ones that I've spoken to, they're coming in if curious, yeah, maybe, but they don't see how it's going to make them more efficient. They don't see, like, because there's no pathway to it yet. And there's not any good case studies or examples of it.
Right,
So I want to focus today on how to use it, how to actually get this thing to make you money
right.
today, starting today. And a great way to do that is, getting your social media. It's free to use social media, right? For the most part. And, all of the contractors should be present there. And this, if you're just, again, if you're just starting out, or if you already have a social media presence, um, this is where this tool really becomes a game changer for you. It cuts down on the time that you have to think of posts, and it improves everything. So we're going to go through today a lesson. We're going to actually do a training, and I'm going to give you guys the actual prompts, how to use it, because again, it's what you ask it, and how you ask it that produces the results, right?
Yeah.
That sound like a game plan?
Yeah, and I think I mean I can hear certain people from my old team going like, so we just got company cam, we
Right.
just got builder trend in place, and now you're giving us another thing, right? I can hear the groans, but the thing is, and I think that's fair, right?
Yep.
I think it's fair, and if you're on social media right now, if you're on TikTok or any of the Reels platforms, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube Shorts, you're seeing everybody's talking about it, right? And so it's like we're drowning in knowledge, but like starving for wisdom. We don't really know what
Right.
to do with any of it. So hopefully this is going to help today. And
Provide context.
yeah, because it's like it's like anything else, without any context or specificity. It's
Yeah.
understandable that people would be nervous. So hopefully we can show that this is really like really functional, really easy when you've got the right tools.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to actually design a whole social media campaign, start to finish, including posts and call to actions and everything. So let's go
I
ahead and
think I
jump
just
into this.
I think I just heard four people pass out.
Yeah, they just got it right off, for sure, for sure. But the good news is it's literally like step by step. There's nothing to
Yeah.
nothing to think about here. So sit back and just enjoy.
All right, I'm going to share my screen here, Jay,
Okay.
and then you will just get this thing. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, if you want to just open it up, that'd be great.
All
Perfect.
right.
Okay, so let's start with before what has to happen before we actually jump in and start creating posts. Okay. And God knows I did it exactly this way. I had no idea when I started, posting on social media what the hell I was doing. And I think that is really what most contractors do. I even had my ex-girlfriend posting stuff. It was just like there was no structure to it, and the results showed, right? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I was posting, you know, god awful photos, and it didn't help my brand or make my business look much better. So I think before you start this, if you want to truly do this professionally, okay, and we're not talking about a ton of time, but we need to have a plan. We need to define our goals.
Yeah.
Like, what is it that you want to get out of this? Okay. Because if you don't start with a goal or a target, all right, very rarely are we going to make it there, right? We're not going to get to where we want to be.
Right.
So, I mean, identifying the, you know, the business objective, you know, what is it? Is this for more leads? Is this for building your brand? Is this for driving traffic? Like, get clear about that, right? And it's okay to say, hey, I'm just like, and we'll get into this in a minute, but I think most contractors and businesses in general do not understand the buyer's journey and how people purchase things. Although we buy stuff, they don't have the first clue on how to directly ask their consumers to buy the things from them. And what ends up happening is this very expensive process called brand marketing, where we're marketing our brand and putting our chest up and going, hey, look at me. But it does fuck all for you.
Right.
It doesn't it doesn't build your business, doesn't build you, you know, what it ends up doing is simply just, you know, putting your brand out. Now I'll put it to you like this. The only ones that can afford to brand market is companies like Coca-Cola.
Right,
okay?
the largest companies on the planet.
$3 billion they spent so that everybody knows the name Coca-Cola, and they don't have to do any direct response marketing whatsoever.
Right.
No contractor that I'm aware of has that kind of budget. So we have to be more specific, and that's where I want you to think of your social media. Be stupid specific. Be on mark with what it is, and we're going to add to this in a second, but who are you marketing to? Who is your direct client? Who's your avatar? And we're going to show you how to use it, you know, create all that, but be specific. Okay. And it's okay to have multiple goals. Okay. So you can say, hey, I want to build my brand. And I don't think that you have to be on multiple, or on a singular goal, but you need to get it down out of your head and be specific about what those goals are. Okay. And then create a goal for engagement. All right. So I'm going to create a goal for you. It needs to be engagement. All right. I don't care how many followers you have. That doesn't impress me. What I care about is how many of them have been converted into clients, have, you know, achieved your objective. How many, like, so you're not going to do that. And social media, what you need to understand is it's still a person-to-person transaction, right? So if you're not engaging with people that are liking your posts and your content, you are wasting your time. Okay. So, and we'll talk about, you know, some strategies and stuff around that. So not to get overwhelmed, but engagement's super important. Okay. And then I will always center everything that I suggest to you based on data. So I have a fresh new saying that I tell my team over and over again. And I've shared with you, Adrian, it's in God I trust, everyone else bring your data. So there in that the same this, and I think I stole that from Dan Kennedy, but the point to that is that no matter what you're doing, all right, if you are going to be serious about it, you need to be able to measure it. Okay. It comes down to KPIs. There's lots of tools, stuff out there. So we'll get into that as well, but plan to have metrics to this. Okay. Don't do it if you're not going to. If you don't measure it, it's not manageable. Okay. And it doesn't improve, right? We can just keep doing the same thing, and that's what keeps us stuck. Right. And then the next is there is no set and forget. Okay. If you think you can just set something, keep just throwing the same old content and forget about it, you are sadly mistaken. It'd be better if you just leave your social media alone at that point, because things do change. Now, it's not a lot of work once you get on top of it, but again, not reviewing and adjusting will bring you pain and tears. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead with our first step here. We're going to, and here's something I want to explain to everybody about using ChatGPT. Okay. ChatGPT is built, first of all, off of reading articles. Okay. Articles that are, on the internet and stuff. So it's been trained on formal, good communication. Now, if I know contractors well, including myself, I write with my toes and I use lots of short forms and stuff. It's hard, again, without giving ChatGPT clear, concise instructions, you're not going to get the result that you need. So what we do first in ChatGPT, and by the way, you guys will need to have the $20 advanced ChatGPT. You can do it with the other one, but it's just not the same. Highly recommend you spend the
Plus
20 bucks.
subscription, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to give you guys here is a prompt. It's called a seed prompt. Okay. So for those of you that don't know how ChatGPT, it's not just, writing questions, but you can prompt it so that it starts to learn from what you're explaining, or it does things very specifically. So I already created my prompt before we started, but in the when you guys go to run this yourself, what you're going to do is you're going to use the template that I'm going to share with you in the page, and you're going to just put in your own information. So if you scroll to the bottom there, you can grab my prompt, my seed prompt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're going to put
the
that
seed
in.
Prompt is all of this, right?
All
Jay?
of that. That's correct.
All right.
So it's all ready to go.
All right. Over here on ChatGPT, I'm going to put it in there and hit go.
Okay. So basically I just told ChatGPT, what exactly it is. Okay. Okay. So it's just basically going to repeat back, what I've put into it. Okay. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to have this help us create a social media. So the next prompt we're going to put in here is we want to create a plan for setting social media advertising goals and objectives that align with my business goals and audience. That second one there.
To define your goals?
No, don't. Yeah, just go from help me create a plan for setting social media. No, I'll go right up to the top. It's in italics underneath. So you see that second one?
Yes. Provide me. Or help me.
Help me.
Sorry.
No problem. No. Right. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Perfect. So now it's going to actually give you a plan to, create your goals and objectives for your social media platform. And it's, again, this is specific to your business based on the prompts, right? So this is telling me that my goals should be business goal alignment, increase brand awareness, and lead generation. So those are the areas that I will want to focus on. Customer engagement, right? Like I said, educate your audience, right? So these are the types. Now we're training ChatGPT right now on our business. So the answers that it's going to be giving is based on these prompts going in first. So just keep that in mind, guys. So some of this stuff, again, you can put this into a playbook, but essentially it's telling us the game plan here.
Yeah. And just, again, Jay was saying a minute ago about paying for the service. So what this is this is ChatGPT 4 Plus. And so this, you can actually see over here, these are all on the left-hand side of my screen. These are all my prompts and different things that I've searched. I can go back into any one of these and I can pick up the conversation. So in the instance that you would do this with, what we're doing right now on your own, right. You can go back into this prompt and it's like, it's trained, it knows exactly what to do. And so that's what we're doing right now.
Right.
All right. What do we want to tell it next, Joe?
So next we're going to talk about what we have to do after this step. So we've got, the first part done. We basically planned what we're going to do. Like that's the plan for social media. These are the things that we want to do and that are recommended. Now let's get a little bit more clear. So the next is identifying your audience. Okay. So I see this problem with everybody. Okay. And I mean that even with, I have been in businesses 7-figure plus, and they do not know their avatars. They don't know who their client base is. So let me simplify this for everybody in terms of the way you want to look at it. All right. There's actually 3 groups of buyers in any home services, any construction. I've broken it down to here's 3 types of buyers. There is price sensitive. Okay. That represents roughly 60% of the market. And their biggest fear is paying too much money for something. Those are the guys that you're going to find that are price shopping you around. They're on,
Yeah.
the boards. They're on Angie's list. They're very picky about price. Okay, I don't ever want to deal with that. Okay, the second one is a value orientated customer. Okay, this is, again, at certain range, I don't mind dealing with a value orientated customer because they have a little bit more money. And they're looking for value, just like it sounds, right? Most contractors should be focusing on this group, and their biggest fear is not getting a good job, not getting what they've paid for and the value that they've brought, right? So you have to be very you have to differentiate between what's a value buyer and what's a a price sensitive buyer. You can filter that very quickly, and they represent about 30% of the market. Okay. Then we have the high rollers. Okay. I identify a group of high rollers, and they represent for me about 10% of all the leads that come in. And I love high rollers because their only fear is that they want to work with the best. Price is not an object. And again, it's a great customer to work with. But again, you have to speak to them and you have to communicate to them and know their persona, know how to identify them, know how to direct your marketing. So you heard me say, direct your marketing, or direct your response, have a direct response with them. So not just, we're going to brand ourselves to them and hope that they pick us. No. We're going to go and directly market to them. We're going to talk to them, almost like we're having a conversation with them through media. Okay. Yeah. So in order to do that, we want to analyze our current customers, figure out, first of all, where you're at. Are your clients mostly price sensitive? Are they value oriented, or are they high rollers, right? If you can put them into the group, if you're on this call right now and your all your clients are price sensitive, it's time to market. Okay. Right. These are the guys that live off referrals and all this other, they're on Angie's list or Home Stars and stuff like that. Like they're really getting hammered with low value clients. And then when they raise their price, they lose their clients. It's not a great place to be. Okay. Yeah. So we want to start to create a new avatar for ourselves. So the next is understand a value proposition. Okay. What's unique? What unique value do you bring to the customer? So in order to sell to a value oriented customer, you have to bring value. Simple as that. And their value system is going to be different than someone who's price sensitive. Like I said, are they going to get a lifetime roof? Right? Does a price sensitive client really care if it's a lifetime? No, they're just looking for the cheapest price. Right. So again, you differentiate that in your social media, and you want to, marketing's used to push away the wrong people and invite the right people, right? So understanding your value proposition is very important. Now, if you are trying to serve that price sensitive, let's say you have an in and out service and it's $50, you're cleaning carpets for a 10 by 10 square part. I don't know, but there are some certain circumstances where companies have been successful in that market. Not many, but there are some. And ultimately, again, you would frame your value proposition around that. So a little bit of advice I can give you is don't tell your customer you're the best prices in town. Bedrock lowest prices. Our prices won't be beat, like you're Bad Boy or something. No. But you're looking for a value oriented customer. It doesn't work, right? Your messaging isn't correct. So we want to make sure that we identify that. Then identify the key segment, right? So segment your audience, right? Understand that, hey, there are people that are out there looking for, they've got a very specific problem. Okay. And you want to be able to segment them, and you can do that in social media as well. So through your post and your messaging, okay, you can segment out your list. Only people that are really interested in a high level or a high end metal roof, for example, will like your stuff. Somebody that's looking for the cheapest roof just doesn't typically do that, right? So you want to think about segmentation. And again, these are just checks. We're going to give you the prompt in a second here, and I'll shut up. But make sure, again, as I said, everything will come to numbers, is that you're watching your social media insights. Okay. So when you post these kind of things, when you're identifying your audience, does your audience behavior match up with, what the numbers are showing? So let me give you an example of what this means. In my business, I'm only trying to attract high rollers and high-end, high-value clients. Why? Because I sell a very expensive product, all right, to a very niche market. Okay. So if I'm not bang on with my direct marketing and my messaging throughout my social media, and it's supporting what it is that they value, not what you value. Okay. Because I'm a self-professed, I would not sell a roof to me. I wouldn't make it through my screening process because I am the price sensitive guy. I mean, I am the cheapest. Like I wouldn't sell to me. Okay. So, and that's okay. I've come to grips with that. So at the end of the day, again, you got to make sure that you're hitting that mark. Now, would I go in like very high end cars or luxury vehicles? No, I wouldn't, because that's not my values. Now, the people who I sell to would. You see the difference? Right. Okay. Yep. So knowing that and being able to measure that just locks your campaigns in that much easier. Right now, let's go ahead and create a buyer persona. So help me create a buyer persona. If you want to just copy that prompt, and you're going to see my buyer persona based on the prompt that I had seeded it with, right? So, and this is how easy it is, guys. When you can go in and just be like, hey, I want to deal with, rich, high rollers. Bam, there you go. Homeowner, 40 to 60.
There's I'm sorry, Jay, but just like, by the way, using this tool, like sometimes like I'll click off of it, to go do something else, and you click back on and it's still going, right? Yeah. It's like, I mean, honestly, it's like having it's a employee that's going to cost you $20 a month. And when you leave the chat, you come back, it's ready to pick up right where you left off.
So let's jump into this one here. Just think about this. So everything I'm just talking to you about, like knowing your persona, like if you were to sit down on your own, and I mean, I've done this, before ChatGPT, and it's, again, every year it felt like it does. And again, you can't market. You cannot properly market. All right. Now you can throw your money, burn it. You can throw it out the window. Marketing companies will gladly take it. But you can't actually market because you can't communicate to a marketer or anybody else what it is you're trying to sell and who you're trying to sell it to, right? And if you're trying to sell to everybody and you don't know this, just stop. You're working yourself into a very high risk job, is what I'm going to say, because there's no riches in that, right? You can't be everything to everyone. So this information here is super, super critical, right? So what are their pain points? Why would using pain points, like what is really keeping them up at night? Like, why is that important? Like, why would that be important in marketing? Right? But that's what you're going to use in your messaging to attract your ideal client, right? You want to, the pain points of a high roller are not the same as a price sensitive shopper, right? Like, again, the two messages would be completely different in the pain points. If you're not speaking to your client's pain points, you are brand marketing, if you're brand marketing at all, even. Right?
Yeah, so I just have to say real quick. So, most people don't know, Jay and I worked together on this, like not even like a year ago, right? Not even like just over a year ago. I was the CEO of a masonry restoration business. And I did this exercise, and Jay, this took me, oh my God.
It
took me hours and hours. And Jay has a very long, very detailed, long form, what is it, like an 18-page doc?
Yep.
And so I'm going through his doc, like literally question by question by question. And I'm not kidding. Like I did it right and it worked. But I mean, it was brilliant, but like it took me, I spent probably the better part of a weekend building this myself.
Right.
And what just took like
a few seconds,
48 seconds.
So again, like, let's just line up the steps here. Like we're already into something that, going back a year ago, our agency would have charged, a couple $1,000 to get out of your head and to design for you. Okay. Now let's talk about the next step. Why, again, now we know who our avatar is. Now, some of you out there that are business to business, B2B, you still have an avatar. You still have a person to sell to. Okay. But it's going to change the platform that you decide to market or focus on. I see this a lot. Oh, I'm just going to throw my stuff on Facebook. Great. Why? If you're in a B2B, if you're selling B2B, don't not all platforms are equal. They're all like I'm suggesting, they're all directed and have a purpose to their ideal buyers. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about, reviewing, first of all, review your customer's persona. Where would they hang out? Like, you got to think about this exactly like this. Where would your ideal buyer hang out? Where would they be? Where would they segment? Because that matters. That's so important. And then understand what each platform and what their unique characteristics are. Now, I'm going to buy you past this, so you're not going to need to think about this one, right? But this is just, again, these are the steps you would have to think about on your own and do without ChatGPT. Okay. So the other thing is you're going to match your content. So consider the type of content that you want to share, right? Like, you got to match that to your persona and so I mean, that's not everybody's a copyright, but by they're tradespeople. I get all that. You want to make sure that you're that you're focused when you go into these platforms. What's the purpose of your content being posted? For me, and I'm going to be very direct with you guys on this, I don't do any posts without having an exact purpose, an exact persona that I'm talking to, because I don't want to waste my time and I don't want to confuse my buyer. So if I'm trying to be everything to everyone, you're actually pushing away your ideal buyers. And I get this all the time. Well, I can't find high rollers. I don't get no high rollers come to me. I'm like, well, all I have to do is look at your social media to know right away that nothing here aligns with that value system that they have. And in fact, you don't even know who you are as a business. And that's why most of you guys can't market. And when you do try to, it just costs you so much money because you are not looking specifically enough, right? And you're not even on the right platform. So if you want to market B2B, but you're on TikTok, you're wasting your time. It's an entertainment app. Like, guys, get it together. Like, the only ones you're impressing there are your competitors, maybe. Now, if I want to recruit or hire someone, I'll go to TikTok, right? I know which platforms to use. If I want, again, I have Facebook for us is very good for brand marketing, for people to check us out. But it's not our first form of marketing. If I want to do B2B, I'm in LinkedIn. So understand that difference. So let's go ahead and prompt it and see what it comes up with to help us or assist us in identifying our social media channels and audience is most active. So now, everything I just said, all the things that took me 22 years to learn, ChatGPT is just going to tell you right now. It's heartbreaking. And it's going to do a better job, right? So
crazy,
boom,
man.
There it is. Facebook, Adrian, this is, again, hilarious, right?
It is now. I mean, it wasn't. I could literally pull that document up. I still have it on my share drive. It's like 30 pages.
Right.
And this is doing it in, minutes.
Right. So again, it breaks down, what are the, in order, focus, Facebook,
in order,
Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, last pinners. Where was this when I needed, again, put all your money into Facebook and Instagram for the ideal buyer persona. Okay, great. Do you know how much time I spent, on LinkedIn and all these, anyways, but again, guys, just think of the 4 steps. I'm talking through the process that I had to follow and that I follow still because it's important. And you could have just put those 4 prompts in and look where we're at now. You've got those answers, your persona,
amazing. And
you haven't had to think about it, right? So the next, we've got all this really great information. Now we need to develop our content strategy, so contractors, build a house. How many steps are involved, right? So let me explain to you about why this is important and why this is a part of the process. Is first of all, again, we're going to come back to our goals. What is our goals of this campaign? Is it to get clients? Is it to find prospects? Okay, great. We're going to align our content strategy around that. And there's different strategies. Again, branding versus lead generation is completely different, right? So next, we're going to determine our content themes, right? We got to identify, several broad themes in our content and when we're creating it, all right, that are going to align with, how our customers' pain points are presented, right? So again, doing themes. So for example, in my niche and in my clients, their big concern is how long will the process take, right? They also are concerned with warranties and, you know, things like noise. And so I always I have continuous themes that we've built around in our social media. The other thing is social proof. They want to see reviews. They want to see drone pictures. We know that because we build our themes around it, right? The way I can explain it is everybody has a hungry crowd around them. Okay. And if you don't learn how to cook the food to feed the hungry crowd, you're not going to win the game. Okay.
Right.
So think of this as learning how to come up with the best recipe to feed the hungry crowd, right? When you can do that, that's when you're actually running a business. Okay. You know, we want to choose the content formats, right? This is another thing, again, you know, that we get into a lot of is like, you know, all the platforms have different content formats, right? I mean, you've got to shoot different types of videos. You need to be aware of those things, right? You know, and then on top of all this, we want to make sure that this is leading us to somewhere. Where we're going to put all of this information, I'll tell you. We're going to create a content calendar in the next step, but this is to develop that strategy needs to be applied to a calendar so that it gets off your plate. This is something you would delegate, right? Or you would have a list of the, you know, the images and stuff that you're going to collect. You're going to get a month ahead, and then you've got all your content. It's based around a theme. It's going to get you consistency and results, right? And the, you know, now we're finally getting to, well, that's great. We haven't made any content yet. How am I? You've got to make it engaging. You've got to come up and figure out how to make your content engaging. Now, I shared with you earlier that I'm absolutely terrible at figuring out, at even to this day, what my hungry crowd wants to see. If it were up to me, and thank God it's not, it would be an off-focus photo of, you know, some random work site, right? And I see it in I see it in contractors' social media all the time. The terrible out of focus photos haven't been edited, just like, you know, it's something stupid in the background, like to a homeowner. That's, you know, like I have literally seen, you know, contractors that I've worked with have pictures of beer and stuff in the background going like, you posted that, like that you may as well have, like, you're digging your own grave here. Like if I'm a homeowner or I'm your ideal avatar and I came to your social media, I am running away. Like I'm leaving immediately. Right? Because they're validating you there. We use our social media for clients to validate us, right? On there we have our, you know, our work, and it shows them that we know what we're doing. We're a trusted source, right? So that's engaging to them. Now, to a low ticket buyer, there's nothing engaging about it. Yeah, it looks nice, but it looks expensive. Yeah, it looks expensive. You better go away. Right? You see how that works?
Yeah.
Okay. There are no photos there of nothing. The only things I show are high end or high value homes. Okay. Because that's all I do. I don't do low value or cheap steel roofs. Like I don't do that work. Therefore, I don't post it. And if I did do it, I wouldn't post it. Right. If I did have to slide in, I'm only posting high value stuff that's only going to appeal to that very small slither of the market segment. Okay. Next, guys. I can't stress this enough in your strategy. I can't say this enough times. And it breaks my heart to see it. Okay. If you don't have a clear call to action, all right, you are wasting your time. Your job is to direct your ideal buyers or your hungry crowd, all right, to the food. If you're just there posting shit without making an ask and being clear about what you want the client to do next, wasting your time. Okay. So we're going to show you in the next prompts how to take care of that. So, and call to actions can be what we call non-intent or soft, right? So it's a gentle ask, or it can be a hard, like, hey, book a call right now, right? Again, if you're setting up your strategy, there may be a mix of those things, right? So we do gentle and we do hard CTAs, right? We're always asking for them to take an action, because why else would we create this social media and invest in it and invest our time and energy into it? Just what would we want, a pretty picture book that no one ever looks at? No, right. It has a purpose and it's intentful, and it's okay to ask for what it is that you're doing, because you're only going to bring in people that would be like, hey, yeah, you know what? But what you can't do, all right, is this: not know your persona leads to what? marketing the wrong things. So, hey, I only sell to high-end homeowners, but we go on your social media, you're showing pictures of, poor workmanship, or,
Right.
guys drinking beers, and nothing about the images are saying I'm a high-end contractor. And on
Yeah.
top of that, all, right? You don't make a call to action. You don't tell them, hey, this is where we're at. This is how you get a hold of us. You don't do any of that. No, it's just people think it's a social, like, is this guy's personal life, or like, what's going on here?
Well, so I have actually a real personal story there. So we kept getting these jobs that were like doing like repointing patios,
Okay.
and, in brick, masonry repair, that is literally, I don't know if it's the lowest as far as like highest likelihood to fail, and like cheapest, like you can't charge anything for it. And we kept getting these, and they were a fucking nightmare,
Right.
And so I was like, God damn, like, why are we getting all these calls for this, for these brick, for brick patios or brick stoops or whatever? And then I went and pulled like one of our marketing flyers, and on the front of the friggin' marketing flyer is a before and after
Mhm.
of a brick patio the company had done
Right.
probably 25 years ago. And I was like, take that off right
Yes.
now, put like this before and after of this commercial building. And, like we completely, and eventually I just scrapped that whole market, because it was also going to the wrong customer.
Right.
And so here, guess what happened? We didn't get any more stupid brick patios.
That's right. Well, but again,
we
guys,
stopped getting those calls.
but again, this is where contractors have the ability now to direct their marketing, right? Because listen, there's no lack of information. This is not new stuff I'm sharing with you. This is like
Right.
bedrock. Like, it's going to work for the foreseeable. Direct response marketing has not changed one iota, not one bit, since, I mean, it was around, before, while we were communicating, since the beginning of commerce. Okay.
Right.
Is we have to know how to directly speak to clients that are going to buy our services. Okay. Now think about things of it. The mechanism, or the platform that you do that on, has changed. In fact, we have more ability to reach clients. We've never been at any point in history have such an easy ability to generate business. Never ever. We are in the golden age of marketing and sales, I feel. Okay. And it's only getting better, because now, somebody that, can barely put together a sentence, on paper, when I'm really pressed, I get to use a tool now that gets this stuff out of my head. Now, again, you just seen those prompts. So let's go ahead and do this. Grab the develop my social media content calendar for my target audience. Okay. So guys, think how easy we just made this. Now, if we don't want to create the content, we're going to actually just hand this off to, a designer, whoever. Perfect. Right. Just hilarious. So there's week one, Facebook, share, talk about website, long-term benefits. Like, again, guys, it's just that easy, right? There's your schedule.
I mean, Jay, so hold on. Like, I think, so for anyone who hasn't had to buy these services, like, what was just, I mean, a year ago, what were agencies I know what the quotes I got for stuff like this.
So I'll just tell you what my agency's charging for this, right? So again, now let's make sure I separate this. So for social media, somebody to manage your social media account that's decent, even with this tool, will still cost you $1,200 fairly a month. Okay. Because what it can't do, and what, like, this is all really great. And if you're doing it yourself, this is like a game changer. All right. But when it comes to design, AI is not there, right? It's not, it won't do all this, and it won't put together the strategy. So again, it's just information, right? Until you can put context to that. So we charge, $1,200 a month for that service. But if you could find somebody that can create for you, so create the content, clip, edit, have photos, don't ever start posting other people's work, or bot media. Like, that is, you may as well just don't. Okay. Just stop. All right. And you want to think about how to get this in a routine where this is what leads to consistency. There's nothing that you're going to be able to do if you're starting at zero, okay? There's nothing you're going to be able to do in a day. All right. You have to consistently be committed to this. And all contractors need to be. If you're not there, you're losing business like crazy. Right. So this is breaking it down for you. Now, if you want to, outsource this or delegate it, at least you're in control versus somebody having to come in, assume things about your business, guess at it. Right. And then you actually the brand voice, which is you're the ambassador for your brand. All right. The voice gets lost. Right. And customers get confused and therefore you get nothing. It's just like those guys that go out and tell the world that, hey, I do, bathroom renovations, I'll clean your car. I've got car washing services. Like, I laugh at these guys. We do bathrooms.
What do you
we
really do?
Yeah. Like to a high level, high value client, you scare them away. And what are you left with? Price sensitive, right? Oh, you do all of these things. Great. Yeah. And again, like, if you're a value oriented customer, you want one thing done very well, right? Like it's very rare that you find a contractor that can do everything, but more importantly, that's not scalable. Okay. No matter what, the contractor, maybe have the skill sets yourself. All right. Or maybe you have a small guy or few crews or whatever that are good at doing one thing or like lots of different things. Okay. But that's not scalable. And if you look at the top 2% of contractors in the market, the real big boys, okay, they specialize on specific things, okay, right. On a specific thing. And before they got to that point, they knew good enough that there's too many variables when you're trying to offer multiple services. I offer 4 roofing services. That's it, right? We offer standing seam, metal roofing shingles, soffit fascia trough, and metal or roofing service. All right, 4 things. All 4 of them I treat as completely separate offers. They have their own marketing, their own, sales process. They have it's like a company within a company. All right. And you have to be like that these days. Okay. Because the attention span of your clients has gone down dramatically. And you need to know, listen, there is a big difference between somebody looking for a standing seam metal roof and metal shingles. Okay. Massive difference. Okay. They're night and day people. All right. Now, can you sell them, sometimes, of course. Is it generally the same thing? Of course. But my marketing would not be getting us to 10 million a year if I was just focusing on, hey, I do all roofing. Right. I'll do any roof you got, right? I'll do your commercial flats. I'll do all of it. And to the consumers I sell to, the ones that have money and that, pay me to and give me a profit, they want someone that's a complete specialist, right? There's a good saying I'll apply to this is the riches are in the niches. And you have to think that way, and you have to get very good at doing one thing well. If you can't do that, don't bother trying to do all these other things. It's not attracting more clients. It's actually repelling clients. Okay. So next we've got our content calendar here. All right. And, we just touched on consistency. Okay. So, consistency is posting. You can use schedulers. You can get months ahead of your content where it's just already posted. Maybe, you outsource the media or the photos or whatever, and it's off your plate. But it's consistency that's going to win the game. All right. One thing I want to let everybody know is we're in a marathon. We're not in a race. Okay. Right. You're in a marathon. All right. Consistency is what wins this game. Okay. The next points I'm going to make here, we've got our content calendar now. Now it's time to think about engagement. Okay. And you notice I haven't started to create one post yet, and you're going to see why in a second, but you want to think about when people like or, comment on anything, what are you getting from that? Right. If you're letting that and you're not doing anything about, that's essentially like, again, pulling out $100 bill or whatever your time is worth, lighting it on fire and throwing it away. Okay. Don't even bother. Don't even have an account. Don't even mess with it. Okay. The reason why is, again, if you're not willing to engage with your audience and have conversations and talk to them, and get them to a face-to-face meeting or call or take an action, what's the point? Right. There's lots of companies that, can puff their chest. And I would say 90% of contractors I see do brand marketing. They're just, look at me, and no one cares. Do you think your client gives a shit about the work you've done for other people? No, they don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about any of that. They only care about their problem, and they only want to know one thing. Can you solve it? Yes or no? Okay.
Right.
If you get that in your head, then it's much easier to ask for business, right? And you'll see your business will come, you'll attract it versus chasing it. Okay. So if we want to throw in that prompt there in terms of engagement, and engagement does have, there's got to be some key things here. So like, you need to encourage the interaction. If your call to action is for them to comment or post, just write a response. So like, again, somebody, responded positively about your thing. You need to respond to them, right? Again, you don't ghost them. They're reaching out to you, and then you need to ask them if they want a quote. If you're not doing this, you're wasting your time, guys. Like, again, and I see it over and over and over again. I was working with a contractor this week, and we were talking about these things where he didn't have a lot of money for marketing and for his budgets. I was like, okay, I get that. Cool. We go onto his social media. He has 4,000 followers. He's 4,000, and it's an engaged. I'm like, what the hell? He's like, wow. Yeah, I only use social media. Jeez. He's like, but I don't get many jobs. I was like, oh yeah. I'm like, let's have a look at this. So I open up, and he's actually doing better than me and doesn't even realize it. And I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. I'm like, do you respond to these comments and stuff? He's like, yeah. Like, he's fully like engaged in everything else. And I was like, and all your business. So his whole marketing strategy, he only does one thing, and he engages with people that likes his posts. That's all. That's it. Like, his photos aren't good. Like, his content's not that great, but like, he's only getting clients through social media. That's it. And that's because he does this one thing, and it's engagement, right? It's responding back when people reach out, like having conversations with them. And again, he did that naturally, but I look at 99%. And again, for him to have such a small 4,000 followers, and like, to be able to pull, and he's a 7-figure contractor, right? He's doing over $1 million a year with just that small mini account, and he's, again, that's not, I don't recommend that, but I mean, there's other avenues, but that goes to show you the power of engagement. And just, again, even asking for referrals and stuff, like, there's so many ways that you can create it. And you need to be planned and prepared for it. So again, you can see just a prompt for, get it to respond to your positive comment. You didn't need to think about that, right? Now you've created that engagement, right? You've got a plan for that. Next, we want to make sure that we're monitoring and adjusting, right? So here's the other half of it. Again, I always come back to the analytics part, but if we're not monitoring and adjusting our strategy, okay, and I say strategy, so the strategy is basically the idea or the hypothesis of how the hell is this going to work for me, right? If you keep doing the same thing and you're not getting a result, whose fault is that? Right? Like, again, that is the essence of insanity, right? If the result isn't what you want, you need to be able to adjust. And again, give it some time. I'm going to give you a rule of thumb. When we start a new strategy, we give it exactly 4 weeks. If we're not getting the result that we want from it, then we change. Okay, we adjust. We figure out what went right and what went wrong, but we're analyzing it. We're looking at the behavior. We're looking at, what the key metrics is. It hitting yes or no, right? It has to be black and white, or you won't keep doing it, and you'll get lost and you'll get overwhelmed. Okay. So monitoring and adjusting for it's really important. And again, I'm gonna talk about this next point before we get to actually building a campaign here. All right, we're still just giving ChatGPT information about us, by the way, by creating this segue. I just brought it up about being professional. Okay, I see it over and over again, and again, I honestly believe contractors just don't know any better. All right, but you're not posting to other contractors. Okay, right. Your audience doesn't know a single thing about what it is that you do, and they don't want to know. Okay. So I see a lot of guys posting very technical, detailed stuff, unless you're selling B2B where somebody else actually gives a shit about that. I mean, you want to show there's a good, good position to take it. You're selling the sizzle. You're not selling the steak. No one cares, and unless you're trying to, again, attract a B2B customer, and only thing that they really care about is, again, will this solve my problem? Right. So don't be doing long long segue post about and using words and vocabulary that only your trade would know. Okay. Don't think like a contractor when it comes to this. You want to think like maybe you have a very creative wife that's out there, that you want to find the person that's creative, that can put something pretty in front of your audience where it's going to attract them and reinforce what it is that you do. I use before and afters. I use like stuff that, again, me as a contractor, I would post. Look at this really highly detailed section of roof. No one gives a shit about that. Like, that doesn't get any likes. That's no post. Like, unless you're showing it and you're displaying it in a way that makes sense to your client, right? So I had a good example shared with me a week or two ago, and it was funny because we were having this exact conversation with a client, and he did underground parking lot lighting, okay? And on his social media, his biggest post, and the one that had been like hammering in project managers and property maintenance managers and stuff, he's like, yeah, I only have one post that like basically gets any attention. And what it was is he took a picture of the before and after of a parking lot with the lighting the way it was, and then after he did it, and as soon as you come into his page, you know exactly what he does. I was like, why don't you just do more like that? Oh, well, I never thought about that, right? But he's landing all the property managers and everything, because what is their problem, right? They have poor visibility in an underground parking lot. Okay, great. How do you solve it? You just showed him. What would have taken you 1,000 words to explain. You did it in a perfect example, and he did it by mistake, right? And again, the amount of business it generated, but it's just thinking like that, right? Just, in your, if you're a contractor, you got to step outside of that a little bit. And if you can't, get somebody who is creative, get somebody who can paint these pictures for you, because God knows I can't. Like, I'm not the guy for this, right? But I know what needs to be done, and I know the difference, between quality, engaging, direct response marketing versus, somebody just trying to put shit out there. Okay. So again, back to professionalism. You got to think everything you post says something to your ideal buyer about who you are. Okay. And make sure that it's in a line. Make sure it's got alignment. Okay. Now we're going to get to the good stuff here. And another thing that completely baffles me, and this is, by the way, this is, again, I had to do this. One of the hacks was I couldn't really take good photos. Okay. I would take offside photos, just wrong time, wrong lighting, like just not good at it. Okay. We found somebody that loved on our team that just, loved to shoot videos and, do, like me, it was a chore. I signed that person to do that, and he owns it, right? Like he's about it. We have a social media team that gives them content ideas. He goes out and captures it and brings it back. So if you're not that guy and you're not the owner, you do have somebody on your team that will be good at it. Chances are. Okay. If you don't, then you would have to hire outside. But for us, we get all our content from one guy. He sends it to us. We talk about it on a weekly basis with my social media managers. And it's a really great process. Again, we're capturing high quality content, videos. Like it's made us tenfold what a paid PPC ad would run us, right? So, and again, it puts me in front of a high roller wants to see that this company's doing well, right? If you can't show that, you have no business selling to that market, right? Same with your value oriented customers. Do you think that they want to, roll up on your social media and see your, burnt out pickup truck in front of a job site with a couple of guys drinking beers with no shirt on? No, that doesn't work, right? But I see it over and over again. Like, think about where you're posting, think about, who you're trying to speak to, and get the right images that speak about the high quality stuff that you do. And now, again, here are some contractors out there that have taken this to like Mach 10. They're showing they're telling stories. They're in every sense of the word, creating a full-blown marketing experience for their clients. And again, the beauty of it is, before, you would need a team, you would need copyrights, you would need, very few people are just naturally that creative. If you're really good at writing copy, chances are you can't, you're not the greatest at photos and stuff. Like, it's difficult. And for contractors, again, think about what we do, right? You would have to hire a very expensive team. Now, this helps you to stay in control of it and to, get the right people in place and assign the right people that, do have an interest in taking photos and what have you. But Again, this is just a way of looking at it in a different light and using AI to create that. Now let's get to the good stuff. Okay.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about promotions. All right. So now we're actually going to make a post. And I want to talk to you about, again, real quickly. I know I'm burning up time here, but why is it important to promote your business? Why is it important to use free platforms to make offers to people that are going to buy shit from you? Does it, when I say it like that, does that not just make a whole lot more logical sense? Like, I'm going to ask the people that will buy shit to buy shit from me. Okay. But how many times do we go there and go, hey, look at this great new roof that I put on?
And don't ask for anything.
It's flat, right? No, like, okay, it's a nice roof. They're not going to ask you, unless they're, again, unless they're directly, and only, by the way, this is another way to look at it. Only 3% of people are ready to buy now. 3%. Okay. 16% are near ready to buy. Okay. And the rest are in the process or maybe thinking about it. But like,
right.
You think about how small of a needle. So you think of how many followers, how much, audience you would need to get that 3%. Right. So if you're not asking it and making it easy for your client to, to see the next step, you're wasting your time with all of your marketing. Right. So this is what I mean by direct response. So now we're going to actually create a promotion. We're going to make an offer to our client that calls them to action. Okay. And, again, we got to know who they are. We got to know what they want, because that's how we're going to make an offer. We do got to use high quality visuals. We have to have a clear call to action. Like, what is it you want them to do? Right. So I love this, call to action. Get a quote now. A free quote. Oh, but I only work with, high rollers. Do you think that a high roller gives a shit about your free quote? No. Do you think that has any regard to them? Do you think even a value oriented customer like that? Sure, it's okay. Like they're, but you're using wording and language that doesn't talk to what they actually want. Right. And if you don't know what they actually want, then, we're pretending to be in business here. Right. So the other thing is you can schedule these. So don't just start running. And I'm guilty of this. So before I'll make a disclaimer on this. I have done this and it's worked out very poorly for me. Just off the top of my head. Hey, we're going to run a summer sale. Great. It's awesome. It's the summer now. It's, we're halfway through the summer. Let's just have a summer sale. All right, great. By the time everything's ready to go and you get your message out, it's fall. Right. So think about these things in advance. If you're going to have a summer sale, make sure it's ready to go in April and you've been promoting it through your social media and building up towards it. Don't just run these things because somebody on the internet told you to do so. Right. And I'll make that clear. Like if you don't plan to fail. Okay. So then you want to schedule your post. Here's the key thing. If you're looking at your metrics, you'll find out that your audience is only online during certain periods. And there's periods where you want to insert offers where you have the most likely chance to get it. So again, I think I actually have seen this. One of my contractors got AM and PM mixed up, and I had to tell him because he was posting all of his stuff at 2 a.m. And I asked him, I'm like, whoa, how's the engagement been? Oh, it's way down, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, did you put those in a scheduler? And he's like, yeah. He's like, why? I'm like, did you look at your posts? I'm like, no. He's like, because you're posting at 2 a.m. Like, do you think your ideal avatar is up at 2 a.m.? And by the time they are up at 7 or 8, your post has been buried. It's got no organic reach. Like and again, he's not looking at it, he's not viewing it. Right. So you have to be aware of these things. Okay. So the other thing is we're going to leverage stories. People love hearing stories. They like to see how you solve the problem, and doing it through storytelling and what have you. Really, really great way to do it. Right. Talking about the client. Don't talk about yourself. No one cares. Don't tell them how great of a company you are. That's just you talking. You know what you do? You talk about them. They want you to talk about them. They want to be heard, right? If you direct your marketing at the pain points your client has and you talk about them and what they're experiencing, you are going to directly get business from them. If you just talk about yourself, all right, you might get the odd one here and there, but you will never ever hit the, the full potential of this. Okay. So again, we're going to create some offers here. You can see it just, it's creating them right in front of our eyes, right? Investment grade metal roofing solutions, take action now. Like, again, this is stuff that you would otherwise have to hire a copyright to do.
Right. Someone to pay. Yeah. Pay
Yeah.
someone.
So you don't have to do that. And you now can make sure that it matches with your avatar, right? Like, does that message, right? There's investment grade metal roofing, with peace of mind. Does that speak to someone's pain points, do you think?
Well, and I love that it's even got the emojis.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
I mean, all
Right?
the stuff that it's like takes all this tedium that I wouldn't think to do.
Right. Right. And it's creating, again, when we're creating promotions, we're creating interest in our business, and we have a call to action. All right. It makes it very easy for people to do business with you. Right. And you got to think about it. You could be doing CTAs in every single post that you do. And we do, right? There's always, what's my next step? If you want what we're talking about, and this resonates with you, here's the next step. This is what you have to do. Okay. It makes life a lot easier. All right. Now, I know that went a bit long, and we'll get her wrapped up here, but here's one more thing in all of this. And again, guys, I'll be sharing the prompt sheet with you, and everything else. We'll get that posted up after the live. But the other big thing here, guys, is staying up to date. Okay, so I mentioned it earlier in the call here, but we have to stay up to date. I know it sucks. It's more shit we have to learn. Okay, but as an owner, all right, and as a contractor, all right, you can't let somebody else speak for you, all right, if they don't know what it is you do. Okay, if they're not intimately, involved with your business and have captured that voice, and you're just outsourcing it, for example, all right, that's not staying up to date. That's not doing what you're responsible for, and you're responsible for being the brand ambassador to your company. Okay. If you want to sell more, if you want to market better, if you want to do all of these things that make sense and are the most valuable things you can do for your business, it's not doing the work, guys. There's no money in doing the work. Anyone that believes that, you're out of your tree. You don't get paid to do the work. You actually make money as a business by selling and marketing. Okay. Simple as that. There's nothing scalable about doing the work. All right. You can only personally do so much. Okay. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. The money's made in selling and marketing. Why do you want to be good at these? Yeah, if it's something you're not great at, you couldn't think of, whatever. No excuses now, right? Like, there are tools and things out here, but at least you stay in control of your brand, your message. You know your clients. Okay. You know who you do best business with. You have been doing it. All right. You can't trust just anybody to take over and communicate to your client, right? Like, again, I love these, these contractors that let their 15-year-old kids start doing their posts. You can tell, right? I don't know if you know this, but you can tell a 15-year-old child had posted this content. Why do I know that? Well, like, listen, they have an audience in mind that they're trying to speak to, and it's very broad and wide. And, there's nothing in that content that says, I am this, I am asking for this. So again, you have to be intentional about these things. Now, it doesn't take, I guarantee you it took a lot longer to learn your trade than it would to be on top of this. Okay. It's something that is required nowadays. It's not a novelty. It's not something nice to have. If you're not present in social media, guys, you're going to lose a lot of business. And again, you can still do it. It's still possible. I see contractors out doing it, but it's so much harder. It's so much more time. This allows you to accelerate it. And again, now we have AI to take some of the heavy lifting. It doesn't do all the work. Okay. And again, anyone that tells you it does, and it doesn't, it will not create a strategy that can be implemented. It won't take the action for you. Okay. It will give you, what you're asking it for, but it's not capable of putting all of this big picture together. All right. And it won't be for a very long time. So again, we want to be, constantly improving. So one of the things I'm going to suggest here on this call, I know that was a ton of information. All right. The only action I want you to take, all right, from this call, if you do anything, is download my document that I'm going to be sharing on the live post. It'll be up very soon, and run the prompts. Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're just doing those and you delegate out that stuff, you could have your social media up and be on top of it. It doesn't take a lot. Like, we're talking hours instead of weeks to do this stuff. You're like, you shared your story. They took you weeks, right?
Oh,
It took us working together
Yeah.
and then still
Multiple calls. Yeah.
right. So let's be smart about this, right? Like, I'm giving you a pathway here, and it leads to other things, right? It's going to make you ask other questions. It's going to be, very beneficial for you to learn how to do this stuff and how to, leverage it, because guaranteed, I mean, there are competitors out there that are doing this faster, quicker, and easier. And I mean, the speed of which things are moving, if you can't take these very basic steps, I mean, what I've got in my business now will absolutely destroy, anybody that's not using it, right? As we've said before, and I'll continue to say, it will not be AI that takes you out directly. Okay. It will be not AI that makes you fall down, and it's going to be somebody using AI that takes you out.
Right.
Okay. So you decide which side of the fence you want to stand on, but I guarantee you cannot do things as quickly as we can, as efficiently and as accurately and as well without these tools in your hands. So if you don't want to, invest your time and go through the learning experience and really see it for its benefit, you're sleeping on it. It's going to cost you large. And again, it's already happening, whether you realize it or not, right? This all leads to more things too. Again, does AI make your life easier? Yeah, eventually, for sure. It has for me, saved hundreds of hours. Can it make your life miserable? Absolutely.
Sure.
Right. Same thing goes, right? If you're not willing to learn and you're just running it, it's not going to give you, a miracle, right? You have to be prepared to still, take accountability for it. Make sense?
Yeah. So we're going to drop this, right?
Yep.
The seed prompt down here.
Yeah. All of that.
And, and if, you just have to follow what we did, is just take this, put everything in here, right? I would like to, down to the understood, but put your own stuff in, right? And, my carpentry business is designed to blank. Yeah. And really, that's probably the hardest part, Jay, right?
Right.
Is putting your own information into the seed prompt.
But no excuses. Listen, I can't. If you can't put in the 5 things or 6 things there, I can't help you. So I'm sorry. You're like, then go pay someone a lot of money to figure it out. All right, guys. Right. So I'm sorry. I made I want to make a quick thing here. So you'll comment on the live, just because it doesn't like us posting these documents in it. So you're going to comment on the live. I want it. And when we see I want it, we will send it to you directly in your DMs. No, you don't need to give us your email or anything. So just say I want it. Okay. And we'll send it to you right away. Sound good?
All right.
All right, guys.
Man, that was long, but we got a lot of good information there.
That's gold, baby.
I mean, this has got to be, look at this, Jay.
Yeah. Right? That's your whole marketing. Like, again, think about it. That's a whole playbook right there. Your social media done in,
right.
Take me out talking. You would have had.
Well, I was going to say
45 minutes.
If I just would have copied and pasted, you're talking about 7 to 12 minutes, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
This is done, right?
Done.
So, all right, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us for a little bit. We're here every Friday, 3 p.m. If you want the social media, the prompts for building a social media plan like we just did live here, drop a comment. I want it. We're going to DM it to you, and we will see you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.